The dark side of Meta's AI empire. Zuckerberg denies it all. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me. Today we're going to be talking about Meta and AI and what the heck is going on with these data centers. They are just ruining the rural communities. And it seems to be like not even spoken about. It's like a nightmare for some of these folks, but it really doesn't get very much coverage at all.
Data center that is so large it would cover a significant part of Manhattan.
I want to talk to you guys about this a little bit because in one of the lives, the JC live shows that we do on Friday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, be there. We were talking about how the data centers are expanding, and they're expanding to such a degree that the amount of power that they require is going to almost mandate a new means of powering them. The grid just can't support them for the most part. And we were looking into possibly seeing maybe little micro or little mini reactors, nuclear reactors, to be able to power these data centers. So the ecological impact on these areas is just absolutely massive. And once again, it's not being spoken about at all, hence the name, The Dark Side of AI in the title. So I was reading a few articles. I'm going to put them together as I always do and give you my commentary on it. And more importantly, I want to hear from you down below. What do you think about all of this? Or maybe you haven't even thought of it at all, and I'm just bringing it to your attention. So this is just one of these topics that I think that really needs to be discussed, especially as we're moving into 2030s, where we're going to see AI just boom even more than it's currently. 30 to 40%. Some are predicting a quadrupling. So it is a lot, all right? Anyways, down below, I want to hear from you. If you enjoyed this content, as I always say, even in the least, throw it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, throw it a thumbs down. YouTube likes it either which way. If you have not subscribed, consider doing so. If you have, thank you. I appreciate that. Click this little notification button over here, then click all. So when I go live or when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. And if you want to give back to the channel, there's a little thanks button down there. Click on that, give $1 or $2 if you like. If not, it's perfectly fine. The video is still free. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. And if you haven't went over to my website yet, check it out. Go to JCristina.com/shop. Once again, JCristina.com/shop. Check out my merch if there's something there you like. Pick it up. I'd appreciate that. Anyways, let's get right into these articles. They're a little bit longer than the norm, but the information is just really important. All right, so bear with me, okay? Meta's AI server farms, a rural nightmare unfolding. Massive AI data centers built by Meta in rural areas like Newton County, Georgia, as well as Louisiana, are triggering a cascade of negative effects on local communities, far beyond the promised economic benefits. Isn't that always the case? While Meta touts job creation, residents near these sprawling facilities face serious water shortages, environmental harm, and soaring utility costs that threaten their quality of life. Water woes, wells running dry, and toxic sediment. The most alarming impact is on local water supplies. The Newton County Data Center guzzles about 500,000 gallons daily, close to 10% of the county's water usage, primarily for cooling servers.
Cold water pressure in the kitchen. This is where I fill up water for storage. Those are the things we have to fill up to flush the toilets. And this is what's in all the pipes.
Just the well itself is probably 20,000, and that's not counting any of the
all the
faucets.
replacement of the fixtures and faucets
just
and
the well.
toilets and the lines that come underneath the house. It's overwhelming because you really feel like you are up against this huge wall that you can't penetrate. There's nothing that you can do, and they don't care.
This unprecedented demand has left residents like Beverly and Jeff Morris, living just 1,000 feet from the data center, fearful to drink their own well water. Since construction began in 2018, their well water has become discolored and clogged with sediment. Appliances have repeatedly broken down, forcing costly replacements, while others report brown, creek-like water and poor pressure, requiring monthly filter changes. Unbelievable.
Oh my God.
What it looks like right now out my front door. The wind blowing in all of this stuff from across the construction, across the road.
Despite denying responsibility, many locals distrust these assurances, underscoring the power imbalance between corporate promises and lived reality. Environmental and community cost overshadow promises. Meta's pledge of 500 local jobs pales against the tangible costs borne by small rural communities. Unlike touted tech jobs that might pay well, many locals face shrinking water resources essential for farming and daily life. Increased water bills over 30% in 2 years, and the potential of rationing loom ominously as counties struggle to upgrade infrastructure. Moreover, with multiple companies clamoring to build more data centers demanding millions of gallons daily, the environmental pressures only escalate. Exploding electricity consumption drains the grid and wallets. The data center boom does not just stress water. These centers are massive electricity hogs, each consuming megawatts comparable to multiple nuclear plants annually. Man, that's a lot. The surge in data center energy demands has driven up capacity prices dramatically, with rippling effect on residential and business electricity bills. Energy experts warn the current grid cannot sustainably meet the explosion in consumption, especially as AI's growth accelerates, meaning rural and urban areas alike face chronic electricity price hikes and infrastructure strain. Opaque corporate practices, and local power imbalance. Transparency around the exact water usage, environmental impact assessments, and infrastructure negotiation is notably lacking. Of course it is. Community watchdogs and environmental groups have filed requests to disclose the full scope of as water consumption plans, fearing local governments lack the leverage or will to protect public resources from corporate overreach. Probably is the case. This secrecy fuels distrust and leaves locals without recourse as they suffer the consequences. The high cost of Meta's AI expansion. The build-out of Meta's massive AI server farms in rural America exposes a brutal trade-off: economic gains for the few versus critical resource depletion and environmental harm for the many. Water scarcity, polluted wells, ballooning energy costs, and community disruption paints a grim picture behind the shiny AI revolution. Without stringent regulations and genuine corporate accountability, rural communities risk becoming sacrificial zones for tech giants' relentless AI ambitions, paying the ultimate price for digital progress they barely benefit from. Isn't that the case? This is the raw, unsweetened reality residents near Meta's AI data centers live daily, a stark warning about the local fallout of the global AI boom. I'm telling you, when I was reading this and a few other stories, I was like, oh my God, this is like crazy. They showed an aerial photo of this area in Newton County where they ended up building this facility. And I was like, what the heck? They had to have removed maybe 50, 70,000 trees. I don't even know. I mean, this facility is like 150 acres, I think it is, somewhere around there. It's massive. The one in Louisiana is about 100 to 120 acres, just destroyed. Just every single tree just gone, right? It is amazing to me, absolutely amazing. If you just think about it, you do the calculations on 1 acre of land in these areas in Southeast, it's anywhere from about 400, maybe 500 mature trees. And you do the calculation, you can see that it is just tens of thousands of trees just gone, just absolutely gone. The point that they made with 500,000 gallons of water, 500,000 gallons of water per day, these data centers are using in the local area. 500,000. Of course the wells are running dry. And then they're getting this toxic sediment. Of course. You see, what people don't understand is this. When you pull out 500,000 gallons of water, right, you need to put a good portion of that back, right? When you're cooling something, whatever you're cooling, you still end up with water left over. So they're using the water to cool these data centers for these massive chillers, okay? Well, you're pulling the water out of the ground and then you're pushing it back in. That's just how it works. It doesn't just evaporate into the air, it's just gone forever. That's not how it is, right? They use it for cooling and there's runoff. Well, this runoff ends up being toxic because it's going through the entire system. There is all types of lubricant agents. There is other type of things that they put into the water for cooling. Who knows what they do, but then they have to add things to the water too. It's not just pure water. Perfect example. Right down the road from me, we have an FPL facility. This facility is a power plant. Down here, we have where you are, you might have a different name of your power facility. Well, they said, listen, we're going to be using natural gas. I mean, like, oh, that's really clean. That's great, right? But what they didn't talk about is the massive wells that go straight into our aquifer where they're pulling out tens of thousands of gallons of water per day to cool the plant. Then this water is then pushed back into the ground. Now, luckily for me, I am northeast of the plant, whereas water in Florida usually runs southeast, southwest, depends on where you are. So I don't receive any of the contaminant, right? But what I do receive is lack of water. We used to have great well water. Now the well water is spotty. Sometimes there's less, sometimes there's more. Sometimes it has high sulfur content. Sometimes it's more brown with tannin than it ever used to be, right? We have a massive system that's probably like $5,000 to treat our well water because of FPL. Do they give us anything? Do we get some type of reimbursement? Do we get a discount on our electric? No. They don't give a shit about us. They could care less. And the county doesn't care either because they allow it to go through. And then they give them all kinds of subsidies too for bringing the plant here. The same thing holds true here with Meta. These cities are just, they don't care about the people, right? Don't ever think government cares about you. If you do, then you're off. You're a little bit off, all right? Government doesn't care about you. All right? They care about getting the check from you. They care about you being a slave and continuously working as many years as you can to feed the beast, to feed the government. And then when you're no longer viable, they don't even care if you live or die because it doesn't even matter at that point. You know, I was listening to a couple of interviews with Zuckerberg, and he defends it. He defends it like this. He says that these data centers are essential, quote, infrastructure for the future of AI and human connection. Really? Not that there's anything bad about these at all. Matter of fact, it is for the infrastructure for the future of AI and the human connection. Wow, we wouldn't be able to have a human connection unless there was AI, right? What the hell is that even supposed to mean? But he defends this, whereas the local people are like, you know, well, there's a deep disconnect here between the corporate vision and the rural reality. I can tell you that for sure, right? All these people that are seeing their water just gone. Many people are seeing their electric bill going through the roof. And then you have the contaminants on top of it to boot, to pollute. It's insanity to me. And when they said that they were using 500,000 gallons of water per day, which is 10% of the entire city's usage, I mean, that's one facility, 100 acres. And the thing that they don't talk about, like I said just earlier, is where does that water go? Once it is contaminated, where does it go? It doesn't stay pristine, guys. It has to be injected back into the ground. That is how they do it. Deep well injection. It's sad, guys. It is sad. You know, I found this little study here that was done. It said reported only 273 metric tons of CO2 in 2022 from its data centers using market-based accounting. Yet, independent analysis estimates the true emissions could exceed 3.8 million metric tons, a discrepancy of over 19,000 times. And why is this? They say it. Due to the reliance on renewable credits and opaque reporting practices. So they get credits for doing X, Y, and Z, maybe having a solar panel or a wind farm somewhere. They get these credits. And then when they're actually doing crap, okay, they can use those credits to offset. What the hell is that, guys? What the hell is that? You know, the fact of the matter is it just paints a harsh reality to the realistic cost of AI infrastructure expansion. That's just it. Significant water depletion. You have contamination that we've talked about, soaring electric bills that they really didn't get into. Why are people's electric bills soaring? Well, because they are being subsidized. Is being subsidized by the local government. Now, they're using a ton of grid power, so everyone else has to pay the bill because they're being subsidized. You guys, we have to pay Meta's bill. You know, you can't dismiss the land displacement that's happening where you see the ecosystem being damaged. When you see 60, 70, 80,000 trees being cut down to build one of these data centers, you know, I don't know. They need to be more transparent and there needs to be more of these watchdogs watching out because I can tell you it's only going to get worse. And we're talking about there's a lot of other AI out there, obviously, and each one of them uses similar amounts of electricity, water, and everything else. All right? That's just simply how it is. There's no two ways about it. There's no way getting around it. And that's why I alluded to in that JC Live show that, in my personal opinion, I believe that eventually what they're going to do is bring on board these micro nuclear reactors in these locations. There'll be these little self-sustaining nuclear reactors that'll be able to put out megawatts of power so they don't drain the grid. That's all good, right? That's all good. But now, what about the water? You still are going to need that 500,000 gallons of water to cool the data farm. You do. And you're going to need even more water to cool that micro reactor so it doesn't blow up. You know, it's like one thing adds to the next, adds to the next. And I don't think that there is a real answer to it as of right now. Maybe there will be, you know, maybe there will be. But as of right now, the answer to me is no. Maybe they need to put these data farms in the ocean. Then they have infinite amount of water, right? And they're out on, who knows, out somewhere, and they could just attach, I don't know, fiber optic lines to them and call it a day. I don't know. Get them out of here. Maybe that's an answer. Put these platforms out there, maybe in the Gulf side by side, just like you have right now oil rigs, but maybe it's just a platform for like data centers or something. I don't know. But they need to do something because these rural communities are being impacted, just like I was impacted living here for 30 years when FPL ended up building up the road. We couldn't do anything about it. The city said they want it. They got it. That's simply it. That is the way it goes. That is the way it goes. Anyways, guys, what say you? Do you have a data center near you? Have you ever heard of any of this stuff? What do you think about this? Do you think it's a problem? Do you not? Down below, I would love to hear your thoughts. Anyways, guys, many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected. We'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.